going to introduce myself. I'm program manager here at Impact Hub Belgrade, and I also want you to know two more people that are here with me on the panel. I'm just going to give the microphone to them, and it's Gaia and Katerina.
Thank you so much, Julia. Yes, I'm Gaia. I'm the co-founder here at the Impact Hub Belgrade, and what I basically do is work a lot with startup teams, founders in business development and investment readiness. So welcome, everybody.
Hello everyone, my name is Katerina Pavlovic. I have been working a lot with startups. I'm a startup mentor, coach, trainer and consultant, also angel investor, and I will be a mentor in this program, and I'm really glad to share these challenges today with you. Thank you.
Thanks to you both. So I guess we can get into the details of the program. As I said, this is the Unlock Acceleration Program, and by its name, Unlock means unlocking the access to free knowledge. This is the main topic of the program, and this is what we aim for during the acceleration process. So as Impact Hub Belgrade, and together with Gaia and Katerina, we will support those solutions that can be technical and digital, but also non-digital solutions towards opening access to free knowledge. And by itself, the definition of free knowledge is pretty broad. We will actually get into more details about three main topics that we defined for this program. But in general, you can think of free knowledge as the access to information, to data, to awareness about what's happening in relation to certain topics. It can be related to environment, sustainability, civic involvement, politics. So it can actually be a very open and broad spectrum of solutions that we can accept into the acceleration program. This program is implemented together with Wikimedia, which is a very well-known organization within the framework of Wikipedia. So it's a related organization. It was kicked off by Wikimedia Deutschland and then also implemented by Wikimedia Serbia. And from this year, we are all working together to support solutions both in the German-speaking countries, so Germany, Switzerland, Austria, and also in the Western Balkan region. What we will do is to select a number of solutions from now until the end of May, and then support the accelerations of this solution. What we mean by that is basically coaching support, product development support, and also some seed money that can help towards the realizations of this idea. And this acceleration phase will go from June until October. So it will actually be a quite intense and structured program because we want to see solution become actually minimum viable product, so something that is working and it's also partially tested. And this is what we aim for in this selection process, so to find solutions to the domain of free knowledge. As I said, right now we have the application phase open. One important information is that we want teams to work on solutions, but at the moment we're also accepting applications from individuals. This means that if you are interested in a specific topic that relates to access to knowledge, and you are, for example, a developer, an IT expert, or a manager, or an ideator, a change maker, but you don't have a team to work with, you can still present your solution, and we will try to support you as much as possible in finding other team members that complete your expertise towards the delivery of this solution and the further development of it. So this is for individual applications. We, as I said, also accept applications for teams. That means that you might already have a number of people that together with you are forming a team that is working on a specific solution related to free knowledge. And you can already apply to the program by specifying the problem you're trying to solve, the solution you're proposing, and also the expertise that you and your team members are bringing in. The next steps, once the applications are closing at the end of May, will be a hackathon on the 11th of June. And by hackathon, we basically mean a big event with all the teams involved and possible also individuals that will be matched with other team members to form teams to work towards solutions. And during the hackathon, Impact Hub Belgrade and all our team will support you as much as possible in better defining your idea, but even more, better defining the problem you're trying to solve in the domain of access to knowledge. So I think this gives a perspective of the structure of the program, but I would also like to go into more details about the 3 challenges we defined. I don't know if we want to first open mic to people here, or you want to start with the challenges?
Maybe we can start with the
I think it would be, it would make more sense to kind of get more practical about the challenges we identified, so that we can all have a better idea of what free knowledge means. So I think, Gaia, I'm gonna give the word to you for the first one, for the first challenge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's start with you, Katarina. Yeah. I think because.
Okay. Hello again, and regarding this first challenge, which is related to open scientific research, why this may be important. This is a big deal today in Europe, in the whole world. This is actually the movement that is present worldwide, which is to make scientific research results available to everybody, to all levels of the society, to individuals, to companies, to amateurs, professionals, academia, basically everybody who can have some use of it. And the whole idea about open scientific research is to have repositories of scientific research results in the form of different publications, of research findings, and to make this available to people who can, for example, join the already existing scientific research. And in that way, you as a scientist can make a multidisciplinary team. When I say you as a scientist, I mean the users of your future solution that you may be delivering through this accelerator. How can that be possible, or how can that be available to your users? It's usually in the form of the platform where you may have the access to journals that are already open, or access to scientists who are willing to share their research papers, their results, findings, everything that they are willing to in some specific areas. So you may be in the position to choose some areas that are of interest to you, or make different areas available. Also, as just one of the examples, what can be made possible is that people can find the ways to collaborate through this, let's say, platform. That would be one of the solutions. And they may find ways to collaborate on different findings, to hop on somebody's research, or to find some specific team that can be working on finding a solution for some specific problem. Why is this important? This is important because access to knowledge, access to research results accelerates the innovation, and this is very important. And this is one of the highest priorities in policies of the European Commission today. And later on, when we start these research, let's say, that we are aiming at through this meetup, I will show you the framework that you can start with and that you can make the use of in terms of what is already suggested as the ways to go with the open science. Also, one of the possibilities that may be offered through this is for companies to join and find access to some specific research results and actually make the link between the academic world and industry and find ways to commercialize the research results. Because we know today that many faculties, institutes, universities have all sorts of research findings, excellent results, excellent publications, but these are not commercialized. So as you can tell, you have all sorts of possibilities. I mean, all of the ideas are welcomed. We can be brainstorming on the ideas. We can be discussing. We can be doing all sorts of things. You can find, as Julia explained, your team members and try to find the solutions on your own through exploring the already existing solutions and finding the innovativeness in the areas that you may specifically be interested in. So I think this is enough for this challenge, and we will be discussing later on as well. So Gaia.
Thank you, Katrina. So another stream and another line of action that we would very much like for you to sort of tackle, and we'd love for you to give your ideas on how to enhance and strengthen the participation of youth in terms of public engagement, for example. How young people can become more active as citizens. I mean, you're young, and that's, I think you're absolutely, we want to hear your voice. What is happening and what we do very much see in the Western Balkans, but I would say at the level of Europe and even wider, is that young people are much more disaffected nowadays from what is happening. And there's a sense that, you know, things are really absurd. We are living in times that, you know, don't make much sense. And this is a big risk for all of us because we don't find so much the voice and the meaning. We think that we cannot change the situation because, you know, we don't feel connected to any of the things that are happening. And actually, this disengagement from our side is super dangerous. And we know that in the past it has led to very extremist situations, just like Nazism, right? This is exactly the situation that was there before World War II. So we are aware, very much aware, of the fact that information is not being conveyed and is not being, it doesn't come to young people in formats that are appealing, understandable to you, or that you know, can jump on them and agree on them. So we want from you a diversity of ideas. At this point, just ideas. They can become solutions later on through the process and through the program and through the support and the seed money that we make available. But for now, ideas on what can we do for information, data, to be used in a way for you to become more active citizens, and to bring to the forefront a much bigger diversity of crowds for you to be able to act upon things. It's only by, nobody has a real solution nowadays, but that doesn't mean that we cannot still try to get to it. So it's really an appeal to all of you to bring your ideas to the forefront. Maybe one thing that we didn't mention explicitly is that we're really talking about open source and open data solutions, right, at this time. And obviously for them at a certain point to be sustainable, we'll need to talk about sustainable models on, how to move forward, as Katarina was addressing. But it is important that they are open source. Julia.
Thank you, Gaia. Yeah, we got to the third challenge, which is again related to open source, but for this third one, we thought about open source social innovation. What does that mean? We know that in our society, with all the issues that are emerging in relation to climate change, the issue of sustainability, but also the issue of freedom, democracy, and all the main challenges that the society is facing bring to solutions. And there are actually a number of innovators and people that are coming up with real solutions and possibility to tackle these challenges. The main issue is that these mostly remain unknown and not accessible by people, by the society, by all of us. So the idea here is that we would like to see specific social innovation issues and solutions becoming visible and accessible to all. Of course, for social innovation, we are referring to a quite broad area. So what we decided is to focus on two main streams. One is diversity, equity, and inclusion, and the other one is circular economy. So for diversity, equity, and inclusion, we're talking mainly about our society, the way innovation is accessible to diverse groups of people, even the most vulnerable ones. It's accessible in an equable manner, so that everyone with different possibilities, different tools, and access can actually get to this social innovation, and in an inclusive way, so that everyone, even people that are vulnerable from the physical perspective or from the social perspective, can actually access social innovation. And the other side of it is related to circular economy. So a type of economy that ensures that resources are not wasted, resources are readmitted into the system, the production system, the consumption system, the waste system. So these are the two main streams when we talk about social innovation. And this social innovation can actually refer to three main target groups. So we can talk about the public, so public administration, governments, local governments, city councils, for example. Then there's the private sector, which can be, of course, enterprises, companies, or even private citizens per se. And the third target group can be at civic level, so as a society, which can be a society in terms of a city, but also in terms of a neighborhood or a region, a province. So these are the three main target groups that we would like to see involved in this open source social innovation challenge. Of course, again, it can be related to some IT tools that, for example, are helping people, even the most vulnerable, to access specific innovation that can be made available to them. It can also be non-digital. As we said before, the digital part is not compulsory, although we are very much aware that when we talk about open source, it's usually the main way to go for. I think this main third challenge is basically ensuring that the community at any level, so at the very, team level to the city level or national level, can be engaged and involved in social innovation and become themselves the users of social innovation solutions. So I hope this overview explains a bit more what we mean by free knowledge and open source knowledge, because these are the challenges we would like to see addressed when we receive the applications and therefore the proposal for solutions to these issues. I don't know if there's any questions or anything that you would like to add. If yes.
Can you introduce yourself first, please?
So we would like you to turn on the mic and
there's some comments online.
and we also have some comments in chat, so we will start. Please.
So hello, my name is Vlada, and I would like, I'm very much interested in the social innovation challenge, but I see some overlap between, young people becoming activists and the social innovation. So when we propose our solutions, are we limited to are these challenges 100% distinct, or when we propose a solution, we might tackle actually one or several of the problems? Is that also a possibility, or?
Yeah, this is a great question, actually, because when we were designing the challenges, we were also thinking that some of them can overlap, and that's actually absolutely fine. It's even better somehow. We just tried to give a structure to the topic because it's so broad and so difficult to tackle. But for sure, we would not ask each solution to be referring just to one challenge, so they can overlap.
Thank you.
Thanks for that.
And that's also fine if you have one. Sorry. And that's also fine if you have other ideas that do not maybe follow within these 3 lines of actions. These are the ones that, we thought of and we'd like to see addressed, but we're open.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that even though solutions do exist, you still have lots of space for new ideas, for totally new solutions, for something that you can build on quite a bit, because this is something that is lacking, definitely. This is definitely a growing trend and a growing need. So the most important thing for you is to understand what you're actually addressing, and then the ideas will just be flowing in. It's how it usually goes. So just feel free to ask any questions that you may have or any idea that you may come up with.
So we have a comment in chat. It says, I love your concepts and ethical view in this, but don't we already have the internet and access to free knowledge that way? Yes, this is a very challenging topic, and it's actually a very clever comment that helps us identify even more the issue. So, for example, when we were talking about inclusivity, we could argue that not everyone has internet access, or even that all the people with internet access might not have the skills to access the knowledge that they need, or the capacity to understand, for example, what's real knowledge and what's fake news, for example. So even internet access might not be free knowledge. And I'm gonna give the microphone to Gaia that might have a different comment.
that is definitely one part of the lack of, inclusive access to internet, but internet is also not free, right? So, you receive the information through internet that, someone has paid for you to receive. So that is actually a more systemic problem in terms of access to data, information, and knowledge at that level. There's a lot of media buying going on, there's a lot of blockers, there's a lot of content that doesn't make it on the internet and that is not available because someone else has paid a lot more than you have to have that information come across.
Yeah, I would like to add something related to scientific research results. That's actually totally not free, and totally we don't have any open access to this. For example, if you're a scientist today, you have to have your code to access the database. We have only certain number of open access journals. On the other hand, if you're an entrepreneur and you want to use somebody's research from, let's say, technology or pharmaceutical industry, and to commercialize that, you definitely don't have access to somebody else's research results, and you would have to connect to the academia yourself in order to get the access to it, actually. And also, for example, what comes to my mind related to social innovation, very many people who do have access to the internet don't even know all aspects of the social innovations or all the solutions already existing, and nobody's asking them about the opinion, like, is this really useful, is this really making the impact or not? So we do have access to all sorts of data and information, but it's, as Gaia mentioned, not free, and it's not enough.
Thank you, Katarina. I'm wondering if anyone has more questions, but I'm also gonna read the rest of the comment. So I have an idea where university, you moved it for me, Alex, so now I cannot read it anymore. I have an idea where universities would create lessons and subjects for social impact, and then actually be very practical and create solutions in the community and implement the ideas as a practical way to learn and also impact. Yeah, of course, I mean, the university domain or the school domain, education more in general, could definitely be something very relevant to this program and to the specific challenges that we outlined earlier. And I also like the fact that someone shared already an idea that they have in mind. I wonder if anyone else wants to share something that came up while we were talking, or maybe even before, by just reading the program. I'm not sure if someone else wants to share, either in the chat or live, or also if you have any other questions.
Hello, my name is Marco. So I do have a question regarding the whole program. So I applied as a solo person, but I do have a team, so it was more or less accidental. I do have a project also, and I can develop it myself. So I'm more interested in gathering resources and the data rather than just development, because I can do that alone.
Can I maybe, Marco, just ask you, what's your background? I mean, as you said, you're
okay. So it's a software. So I do work as a software developer, but for myself, not for a different company. So currently, I'm not employed. The software is, I don't know if you read it. It's a virtual reality learning software.
Okay, interesting, very interesting. So maybe give the word to Guy and Katarina as well, but I think my first comment would be that what we are aiming for in the acceleration is to have different profiles in order to actually make the idea working in the longer term. So of course, a software is something that you as a software developer could build, and I'm sure you have all the capacity to do it. But if we're talking about ideas that can be sustainable as even minimum viable products, our approach would be to also make you supported by other profiles and other people. But if maybe Gaia wants to add about it.
I just want to add, I do have a team, so I'm doing the software development, but I do have artists. So we are basically making something that looks more like a video game, but in virtual reality that is set to help people learn.
So, great. So, how many are you in your team?
Just the two of us.
So, it's a team of two. And your partner, what does he or she do in the
He
team?
does 3D modeling and art.
And art. Perfect. Well, it's like an organization, right? So you don't only have the development of the product, you have someone who has to talk to people about it, right? Someone who has to sell it. It doesn't have to be right away sell it for money. It can be just sort of attract people to like what you do, right? Someone has to do the research. Someone has to find partners. So usually, typically, we think of teams as being 3 people. You can start with 2, that's fine. But there have to be different roles addressed in that team. So if someone takes care of software development, the other person actually talks to the users, the customers, and researches the market, and makes the software a lot more visible to the outside world. That's what usually happens. Usually the same type of expert cannot do everything. Yeah. So, but that being said, I mean, you have the option to say, okay, we're a team of 2. We're looking for someone who helps us in terms of communication, marketing, design, sales, business development, whatever the case is. We can help you through the application process to find someone like that, or we can help you also at the hackathon once you come. It's whatever the case is, yeah.
I would say that it's really great that you already have a solution to propose, and now I would encourage you to try through this learning platform, actually VR learning, as you mentioned, to address our challenges, to see how that would fit into your already existing solution, and if that could be a proposed solution to one of our challenges, or more than one challenge, or whatever you feel like. And maybe think about, as Gaia mentioned, onboarding one more person to the team, because it will be useful definitely for you. And I think the whole accelerator will be beneficial, because you will be able to develop your own business model and actually gain access to some seed financing and also mentor support. So all sorts of possibilities exist here.
Thanks for sharing.
Do you have more questions?
Yeah.
No? Okay.
Sounds good. I don't know if anyone else has. If not, we can move. Yeah.
So, is it expected that the, let's say, output of the whole acceleration process is a finished product, or what are the expectations?
Yeah, exactly. The final, and by final we mean end of October, after the whole acceleration, would be a minimum viable product. Yes.
Okay, cool. And would there be a possibility to commercialize this product somehow? Is that included in the acceleration in terms of maybe some partners that you had in mind, that once these solutions are developed, there are existing connections that would immediately, absorb these solutions, or?
Yeah. So the IMPA Hub will definitely help on the, we call it, for the purpose of free knowledge, we call it sustainability models, because there can be a variety of things. As you know, here at the IMPA Hub, we're used to do, a lot of financial modeling, and we want the startups to be able to monetize. For free media, there can be different models to achieve sustainability, monetization being one of them, but we're not solely focused on that line of action. So we'll definitely help along those lines. If it's not possible to have that developed by the end of this specific accelerator, the IMPA Hub stands here to continue and provide support along these lines, also in later on, for sure.
Thank you.
There's a question though online.
Yeah. So the question is, can I ask who is financing this and the incentive for them to finance? Yeah, I mean, I mentioned them at the beginning. This is a program that was initiated and designed by Wikimedia, and being them very well connected with Wikipedia, which we all know, their incentive is the promotion of their own business related to free knowledge. And there's an idea behind free knowledge, which is the fact that in general we tend to think that the more knowledge is free, the less few people can benefit it. And what they're trying to fight is the idea that access to free knowledge would prevent innovation, which is the actual other way around. So the more we give access to knowledge, to data, to any source of information to people, the more innovation and in general improvement of our society can happen. So this is the real deep core of what Wikimedia does, and Wikipedia as well, in their own way of making knowledge accessible to all. And so this program is part of that philosophy.
So just to plug into what you were saying, so Wikimedia is actually a foundation, right? And they are based in San Francisco, but the movement of Wikimedia is worldwide. So you have Wikimedia everywhere, and it is the capital from the foundations that it is being used to promote solutions. And Wikipedia is actually part of the Wikimedia Foundation. So.
Yeah. One more question, I think. Would this challenge be implemented globally or start with Serbia? So with this specific acceleration program, we talk about German-speaking countries, so Germany, Switzerland, Austria, and the Western Balkans. So at the moment, this specific project is covering the region, but for sure Wikimedia as a foundation, as a global foundation, implements similar initiatives in other parts of the world. But here
the solution can be global, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, actually the question can be tricky. So yeah, the solution that you're proposing doesn't have to be limited geographically. So it can, yeah, exactly. It can actually be something applicable anywhere. And if we look at the open source and open knowledge challenges, those are actually very widespread. So I don't think they are limited to one region specifically. So thanks. Yeah. One more question. I'm Serbian, but I live in the UK, so this challenge might not apply to me.
Serbian, but live in the UK. No, if you're Serbian?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a matter of nationality here, not the physical presence in one country or another. So it can definitely be applicable, and yeah, you could apply, and your application would be eligible for sure.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, I have one more question.
Please.
So I read somewhere that you guys are giving stipend for each member of the team. Is that viable or?
Yes.
Okay,
exactly.
so that means that if we don't have a job and we are not looking for a job, we will be working with you during Monday to Friday.
No, that's not how it works. It's just a support funding, but it doesn't mean
We're not
employing. Yeah, it's not related to an employment contract or anything. It's just a support, because we of course value your time and the fact that that the acceleration process is time consuming, because of course there will be sessions, there will be coaching. So we're just recognizing the time you spend in the program.
Okay, one more question. When you're giving us all of that, do you get any subventions from our own projects, for example, like
No.
percentage? Okay.
No, that's not part of the deal, no. Thanks for that. I'm not sure. So in terms of the selection process, as we said, there will be an hackathon on the 11th of June, and we'll try to support everyone to develop their solution as much as possible to apply to the official application form of the program, and then there will be a selection process. So the idea is, of course, to give priority to the best ideas and to try to cover geographically the whole region. So, of course, some ideas will be accepted from the German-speaking countries, some ideas from the Western Balkans. And yeah, there will be a jury that will be made up by our team and also the Wikimedia team that will assess the applications. So there will be a selection process in relation to the solution, the challenge that is addressed, how relevant it is for the program, and all this information will be openly made available. So
for now, we're envisioning 7 teams to be accepted in the accelerator. However, if we see that there's outstanding ideas, and there's more than 7, we're going to be definitely willing to take them into consideration.
yeah. How do we showcase this solution? Is it a virtual or live presentation to apply, or in person, where we can see the details of the application? So we are gonna send a brief follow-up email to all with all the links and details about the program, but it's in our website. So it's in the Impact Hub Belgrade website under programs, and there's an online application form. I think we can also drop a link in the chat for the participants that are already online, but there's a written application form. So there's no live presentation at the moment. We're just accepting ideas.
And actually, we encourage all of you to apply right now. And it's really, really straightforward, simple. Alexa is typing the landing page where you can find information, but also please do share the application form, and we can help you go through it. It's very short, but we'd love for you to actually apply right now so that we know how to accompany you through the process from now on.
Yeah, so we have the link in the chat now, and we can also share this information with the people here in the room.
Alexa, can you share the application form link?
Any more questions?
This is just regarding my, since I applied,
Please.
can I change the application or reapply again? Or because I applied solo, but I want to apply with my teammate at least.
So in general, you can reapply in the sense that you cannot edit your application. You can reapply, and we obviously take into account the latest application until the deadline. So if you want to resubmit, that's fine. We will just consider the latest submission.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Does someone else want to share who you guys are, what you're thinking about? You know, one of our ideas maybe was for you to take one computer and Google a couple of ideas you may have right now, and we can be absolutely here open for all of the considerations you may have about this. Also, maybe we know that the challenge can be a bit conceptual, and we want to be as concrete as possible for you to get the best sort of guidelines.
Yeah, I think we have a comment in chat as well.
Are you three lovely ladies supporting applicants to help us apply and out of our best application forward, or you are part of the judging panel? Conflict of interest. No. So we're going to be helping you through the application as well. That's why we're here. So to be fully open, I will be part of the judging panel, but Julia and Katerina are totally open to help. Yes.
Okay. I think if there's no more questions online, we can maybe close this session, which by the way is recorded, so we can also use that as a info session that can be spread. We can share the recording with you, but also feel free to forward it to people that you think might be interested in this project as well. And maybe we can move towards the application. As we said, there's the link in the chat, and we can share more information with the people here. So feel free to drop your application there. It's super quick, and it's a way for us to understand your potential ideas, and also to help you forward even towards the selection process, even before the actual acceleration program. So thank you, Katerina. Thank you, Gaia. I don't know if you want to add anything or...
No, that was it. It was really lovely now to hear about some ideas, or maybe some comments, or maybe talk more about some of the challenges, whatever you feel like doing. I mean, not only people present here, but people online as well.
Yes, for sure. So thanks, everyone. We will be in touch. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your questions.